If it is trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Sorry, I'm still eating some food, but market just opened. We're actually getting quite a bit of stuff. They sold treasuries on the open. Generally speaking, it may be turning around here, but it doesn't. So let's just kind of keep it in the back of our heads. We're not going to trade it until ADP, which is in 10 minutes. So. Equities recovered big time over the night, so we're actually above yesterday now, I believe. Not quite above yesterday's high, but close. All right. Well, anyways, let's go and grab the links. The links. Don't need that. Let's go and grab. Oh yes, we need to fix the sound. And keep switching it over to speakers and I need to put over here. So if I come in and play this, nope. Properties, we should just change it to always be the this. Okay. Enabled the flash. Good deal.
So get produced prices data out of Canada. Last month, unemployment 2009. Canada was 2001. Raw materials and now we look at the
What is my bet on non-farm? Well, so I'm not really terribly sure, to be honest, but I believe that we could get below, what is it, this 19 level right here? Then we could really trade down in treasuries. I think that the ADP may be better than expected. Where is it here?
BMO anecdotes for January is not really 6 positive. ADP significant 18 paid labour difference. Encouraging Fed survey. Whether the ISM manufacturing fell to the jobless claims minutes ago, get the data from US non-farm payrolls down 1,000 from the range there 1,000 unemployment rate.
Okay.
Average.
So, oh, you're not actually hearing him, are you?
Average.
Can you guys hear the squawk?
Canada.
Maybe I just need to turn it up louder.
1,100 last month. The unemployment
Yeah,
rate is
okay.
5.6%.
I get you.
Out of Canada, rising from 5.6%.
It just was really, really soft, so it wasn't showing up on anything. So, sorry, I was eating. I think, so, I used. So the thing that I think is kind of going to be really interesting about this ADP is that the prediction is 0.3 average hourly earnings, which is quite high. Well, it's not quite high, but it's 0.2, right? So to have 0.3 is good. To have 0.4 would be like mind blowing and probably won't happen. But if it did, we would definitely move down big time. So it's probably going to be more the employment change itself, which we're expecting 179, may be more important to listen to and could push us down if we have a push down. But the thing is that if the number comes out and it really is good, there's been so much panic in the market, and this is the first piece of data that we've had in a very, very long time. It's really going to move the market down because the markets have been so negative. But if the news is bad, people seem to be positioned for it to be a good number right now. And so we could see a real flush in equities back to yesterday's lows. Especially like, I think I could probably bracket it like that and that. So we'll just see. and for trading is not about making money. That's why I'm not using them. And crude could, yeah, if the numbers are good, crude could bounce.
10 seconds.
And gold would go down, of course, with treasuries.
$312,000.
Wow.
312,000 from
Did I fill?
176,000.
Yes.
Unemployment rate at 3.9%, rising from 3.7%. Average earnings then 4%.
Oh shit.
0.2 last month and 0.3 expected. Yearly 3.2% versus 3.1 last time round. Average work week hours 34.5. Private payrolls at 301,000 versus 173,000 revised from 161. The 2-month payroll net revision is up 58,000. Canada sees employment change rising 9,300 on the month and the unemployment rate falling to 5.6%. Full-time employment fell by 18,900.
It was 0.4.
28,300. Just to repeat, the US non-farm payrolls 312,000 from 176,000 revised from 155. Unemployment rate then comes in at 3.9% from 3.7 predicted, and we see the private payrolls at 301,000 versus 173. Manufacturing payrolls at 32,000.
Okay, so hold up. The E-mini actually is coming down a bit here.
11,000 from revised higher, 3,000 from negative 6,000. Average earnings at up 0.4 from 0.2 last month. On the month, year over year,
16 is a significant level. 1675.
63.1%.
Let's just put a few markers here.
Q6 comes in at 7.6, unchanged from previously. Canadian average hourly, employment change at 9,300.
I can't believe that worked. Like I can't believe that I put a market. Well, I take that back, Because where did I actually put the order in at? 12:45. Because I don't think that I actually put in a limit sell. It was a market sell, and it just took the price that it gave me, and then it went +9. That would only work on a move that big. You know what I mean? Okay, so we're getting back up to this 16 now. We're above the 16.
Last month, retail employment increased by 23,800.
This number right here is important too. Okay. Interesting.
Again, there was a rebound in construction sites after being restrained by unseasonably cold November. Also brought gains in hiring last month.
So the E-minis reaction here is really what is the word? Flaky. They kind of come down, they went back up, they're going back down again. So I was thinking that they would maybe get back up to here, but they're not. They're not quite making it, are they? And now they're coming back up. I don't think that I want to sell 17. So I might. They may be about to go, and I'm gonna miss it. Ah, there we go. Okay. Okay, there's an iceberg at 18.5. Let me look at the numbers here a little bit again. So it was 312 versus 179. The unemployment rate went up though. 3.9 versus 3.7. So I think what that kind of says to me is that people lost jobs, but they found new work. Okay, well now we're back up to where we found resistance before. So this is a better place to sell if I can see some sort of impulse, but they're not right now. They're stacking. Now everything still looks like a buy. And they're really stacking it up. Okay, right there. Right there. Yeah. I want to see, they might get through 20 here.
Employment in healthcare, 1,000, food services and drinking places, which 1,000 gains.
Just in here like that. Okay. 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 That one was good too. I like it. They might go a little bit further, but I'm just seeing a little bit of support here at 17.5. And I have an X marked there. See the tick up? Yeah.
Got Ford expands recall for vehicles containing departure airbags. Biden's recall include 82,384 United States and federalized territories, 149,000 Canada.
So the 5-year is going to be the driver here, right? They're going to sell the 5-year a lot more. Can you see the spread that's happening? You're going to see it like this on my DOM.
Amongst all that, we saw producer prices from Canada on the month. They fell by 0.8 after rising by 0.2. November year over year saw a 2.8% rise from 5.2 revised. Raw materials fell by 11.7% on the month. November from 3 revised. Year over year we saw 9% after a rise of 7.
So what's happening is the curve is flattening right now, and so here we're in a pullback in treasuries. The 30-year is pushing up much more than the 5-year is. The 5-year is the delta is almost all selling, and the 30-year they've bought it up and they've bought it up 6 almost 7 ticks here. The 5-year is barely moved. 10-year has moved up 2 ticks. That is a flattener right there. And you will see it on my DOM as, a downward curve like this. That's why I have my my instruments positioned the way that they are, because if you were drawing a picture of like the curve, normally you would have the short end on the left and the long end on the right? But because we're trading prices, it's the opposite. And so if I want to say flattener, and that means that this line on this chart is going down, then I want my curve on my DOMs to be going down. And so I position them that way so that I know if this one's going down more than this one, then we're flattening, and if it was the other way, then we would be steepening like we were yesterday. And this action, given the numbers, could continue for some time. So that puts us in a good position, I think, on the shorter end of the curve in the 30-year. Just wondering here if I want to take another one around 19. I think they might want to test this, though. Given that they did make a slightly higher low before, it's uncertain for me. I don't think that I could just straight up sell 20 again, because they might blow through it this time. Okay. Well, let's reset the DOM and see if we get more spreading from here. Okay, the E-mini is appearing to wake up a little bit more. They're buying. What is with the delta in ES? So do you see this in the E-mini? The cumulative delta in ES is negative. They're selling ES right now. So is there something out there that maybe matters more? Let's read Twitter. Stuff coming through here. Bonds should keep selling off, says FX Macro. Probably. Huge beat. December payrolls rise. There's a secular rise in seasonal Christmas hiring, and retirees are picking up a month or two of work. From the report, okay? So now a reasonably large order is showing up there. So they're stopping it from getting to the 20. Okay. I'm seeing the 5-year is starting to sell again. I think. Okay. Too much traded there at 17. It's not ready to go. Unfortunately, I missed a bit too much there. Clear my drawings off.
Talk is that EU plans to keep its steel import curbs in place until July 20. Plans to keep in place until July.
I see a couple more people on Twitch, so good morning to you guys. The chat got a little quiet, so I hope that means you guys are making money. Yeah, there's definitely some support here at 17, even though it's very flimsy. The E-mini is starting to buy a bit more, though. I'm not seeing too strong of a correlation at the moment, though. So, okay, so nobody really buying into 18. Yep, they're more interested in this 17.5. Hold on a second, let's take care of this phone.
This EU plan is tied to a 25% US tariff on foreign steel. The EU plans to keep steel import curbs in place until July 2021, and this is tied to a 25% US tariff on.
Okay. So an uptick. So the stacking and pulling actually is a little bit negative, believe it or not. And the level 2 is actually just slightly negative as well. Okay. So now we're getting back up into this resistance area. Okay.
Things.
So now I'm starting to see a little bit more absorption on the bid. Oh, I would not be surprised if they try and cause a little bit of chaos here at 20. I mean, that held before. Why not try and push it through for a tick, you know? It's probably that might be why they're just buying there. Equity's still not behaving the way that I would expect them to. Yeah, the sellers really aren't holding it. You see they're only putting 500 up in 19. And they trade up through it. Okay. Well, okay, fine. Now, when I'm seeing these ticks, it's mostly robots. See, okay, so that time somebody is holding it at 19. E-mini is starting to gather up some steam now. They've almost recovered in cumulative delta. Okay. So there was a big buyer at 18. Well, it looks down to me, but I'm not so sure, so I'm just going to let it go if it's going to go. ES now getting above the news price, so that's good. And now we can just go. No. Was it too conservative at 18.5? Well, there it's already fighting back at 17.5. Very small back and forth. After news like this, it's not uncommon to see it go up 8 ticks at a time and down 8 ticks at a time. And we're still getting about 4 ticks before they push back. So I'm really surprised. They are pushing us down. Equities are moving up. So I didn't see the other channel. Oh, hi. Good morning, IQ. Something else that concerns me. Well, I don't want to say concerns me, but talking about the spread. What do you see right now? Since we've reset it, at least. This one is lower than these ones. See? So that doesn't quite make sense. Not that it doesn't quite make sense, but it's not optimal for us. So if we're going down, we want the 5-year to move more than the 30. That it's not suggests that we're having some sort of mean revision, that the spread is adjusting back up. So if we had taken that trade, we would have gotten 4 ticks out of it. That's not enough for the amount of risk that we were taking there. For me, at least. Things feel relatively quiet. Liquidity on the DOM is not a ton. Maybe in 15-30 minutes we'll get some more liquidity in here. We'll get to 4,000s again. You're still getting support here, even though they made a 1 tick lower, but now you're getting support here again. Is the E-mini gonna sell back down? Okay. So there was a little bit of stacking and iceberging at 17 and a little bit of pulling. They're still trading like 1,000 a clip to trade it up, but the amount that is on offer is only like 200, like 200 to 500. They're buying it up. They're stopping at 19 again. Right where they should, frankly. So it'd be 1 tick below previous. Now 18.5 again. I could sell it here. The 5-year appears to be having a hard time holding 30 for sure. But the E-mini is moving down. A little bit of buying there now. Oof. Okay. I'm not actually seeing big orders on this up. Yeah. This liquidity at 20.5 is starting to stack up now. Well, they're not. They don't seem super anxious to buy it here. Robots are definitely taking arbitrage trades there, but like other than that. Okay. So a little bit more forceful. I want to say forceful of a sell there at 18. Although there was a big buy at 302 in the 5-year. That's interesting. And the E-mini is trending down again, but the treasuries aren't really reacting to it. And you're still seeing, I mean, look at what it is since I reset it. Like the 30-year is trying to lead us down, but the 5-year isn't going with it. To see the 30-year go down like that is really weird. It almost makes me want to buy the 30-year. But maybe he wins out. Maybe he wins out and it snaps these guys lower. And then the curve flattens back out again. Like a whip. I don't know. They're using their rope-a-dope approach. Yeah, it could be. That thing there in ZB was definitely a buy, wasn't it? That was an easy 6 ticks that you would have just gotten there if we had taken it when I said I kind of want to buy ZB. But I don't trade ZB, but that was a good trade. Probably as good of a spread arbitrage based trade as I've ever noticed. Okay, they are holding 19. There is quite a bit of liquidity at 18.5 for having just traded it. So they do seem to be stacking some stuff on here. E-minis found some support, but we'll see if they hold it. Keep that over there. Paused at one of the 10s. Yes, at 20. 720. Why is... Okay, so this 20 is pulling. There is not the liquidity there that was there at 20.5 now. This area, it was we had the strong move down, this right here, and then we had the secondary move, and then since then we've only just come back up. But we've come back to where things went after the initial move. We've been here for quite some time now. We are above where most of the volume was at. Okay, so there was a big old iceberg there at 19.5. There's a big buy order right there left behind. Something's my collarbone feels all jacked up. Did you hear that pop? Okay. And they sold it pretty aggressively there at 19 and they're stacking, putting pressure on it. Okay. Now they're pulling. E-minis may be buying a little bit more.
It's not standard open
Oh, look at that.
speaking.
Oh. So the administration is going to do their full core press again. Okay, there's the minis going again. So here again, we might have a push down, and I'm too late. Yeah, you don't want to sell 17.5. Sure enough, there they are. They're pushing it up. They're pushing back at 17.5 again. It's really odd to me that somebody wants to buy it there. Why is this? Well, there was a bunch of buying there towards the kind of more towards the top when we were at like 19. You can kind of see it right here. And you can see it in the delta a little bit too. And then we kind of fell down, and now we're coming back up. I mean, if they can get back to 19, maybe that maybe that volume pulls through and they push up past 20. I don't know. Sitting here today, well, I mean, really the past week, but especially today, having done quite well so far, being up, what, 8, 9, 10 ticks, being up 10 ticks, and seeing a potential trade and no real desire to take it. There you go. That was a pretty forceful stack, especially in the 5-year. The way that they pushed through 29.5 and they stacked at 29 3/4. And they putting 4,000 at 17. I mean, that's... I don't like the risk reward for it, but that is pretty strong pressure all of a sudden. You believe the jobs number was almost double what the experts predicted? And that really makes you wonder. And what's even more interesting is that the E-mini did not necessarily have a strong initial reaction to it. You can see here on the chart, they bought it down here when it went down, but there's nobody actually trying to move the price around. I'm wondering, maybe it continues to do this, rocking back and forth another, 15, 16, 17, 18 minutes. And then when equities open, it just goes gangbusters. you know? This right here. Do that. This right here. Careful buying bonds today, I think, for sure. 100%. I don't. It's unfortunate that I didn't take it when it was at 19, but it seemed really weird and uncertain there. I definitely don't think you want to buy it. Okay, somebody profit taking at 16 in treasuries. Very interesting. Hey, you're wrong. How's it going? Not sure I quite understand the order flow here in this instance, but I think that things are kind of so quiet and stuff, it's just kind of gonna move. I understand the price action, they came up to where there was some resistance. Nobody wanted to take it through there, so they sold it down, and this time they were able to sell it down more and get, below 16. And now, here at 16, some people have taken profits. We'll see if it comes back up again. They certainly have time to do it before the E-mini goes again. Or they could go for another run. Not a lot of interest in taking this higher. Hmm. So Marcin in the stream channel. So Marcin, by the way, thank you for posting. Let me give you regulars permission. It's probably I pay attention to the interest rates channel more. Actually, maybe I should just get rid of the stream channel because we never use it. Because if now that I have the oh, hold on. Now that I have this restream chat thing, I can see the chat in YouTube and Twitch. So if you want to like say something to me directly, it tends to be a little bit better to do it on YouTube because then people can actually see what you wrote. They'll see what you actually wrote in when they rewatch the video. Or you do the interest rates channel because that's embedded in the stream on the left, right? But anyways, he was saying that the bid may be due to upcoming Fed speaker today. Which, when is that, by the way? I think that's much later today, right? 8:15. So not that much later. A little less than an hour from now. And they're maybe bidding it up because... Well, now that's interesting, though, why you would bid it up. Because everything that Powell has said as of late has not been dovish. You know what I mean? But it is an interesting theory, and that does make a little bit of sense to me, what you say. So you may have a good point there, bud. Well, they're really selling it now. It's just way too late to jump on it. You actually could have sold it at like 16.5 when it ticked back up a little bit, and that was the most that they gave you back. But you know, it's not like I'm doing poorly today. Obviously, it would be great if I had got that one, wouldn't it? Oh well. Yeah, I really wish that Restream would fix their I still if I come in here and I try and connect the Discord, like it's connected to the server for sure, but it's not showing me the channels. Then I would attach it to the interest rates, and then I would just embed the both this and the stream into the embedded one in the video over here. That would be freaking awesome. But for now. Okay, so the E-mini is back up towards the higher end of its range now. Still looks a little quiet. And we've got 6 minutes before the equities open. We are seeing the flattening now. A little bit, at least since I reset it. But it has flattened a little bit through this downturn, just a tiny bit. And it was actually a really, really powerful, like 20 tick move down in ZB. ZB's at its lows of the day. CNZF's still quite a ways off from it. I'm wondering, it'll be interesting if it just keeps going and they get all the way down to 11 without stopping. In the end, that'll be quite a move. Do you actually buy that? 147.01 is the midpoint for the week. You're actually getting very strong. Fortunately, because of the news, my VWAP bands don't go back far enough to account for that big movement. So it's hard for me to say if that was like too much. But this is like one crazy trend that is just not giving any kind of pullback now.
Just keep
Hmm. Hmm. So I'm wondering, I was just looking at this. You see here on Jigsaw, I had that first trade and it says that I got 6 ticks on it, but it says that my MFE was 13. So, um, if I had taken that on a live market, would it have actually given me those prices? I'm not so sure. I think 24 half. I don't know. I don't know, guys. That doesn't seem right to me. Seems like I wouldn't have gotten as good of a price, but it's also saying it went way more than those 6 ticks, and so maybe it would have already been way past my target by the time the order had gotten in. And then I don't know what would happen. It would just market buy it at wherever it was, and maybe it would have given me the 12. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Hey, Dustin. How's it going? Okay. Well, there's their first, like, noticeable uptick in treasuries in a while. Good, good. All right, here we go. First impulse is down in E-mini. I think they were looking for this unfinished auction down here at like 24.80.50. Okay. So there was a little bit of a sweep and chaos up, but they faded that very quickly and came back down. Okay. I'm with Peter, who said that he wouldn't recommend feeding stocks today, but they are selling it. So here's the other question: if they get all the way back to 24.76, okay, they went below the unfinished auction, so now there's an unfinished auction way back at like 24.76. So if they get all the way back down there, are treasuries going to, push themselves back up to the like the 19 area? Okay, well there was some support there. Maybe that's all you get. 13, 13 half would have been nice. I'm still not necessarily seeing a lot of like over here in the treasuries. It still looks like mostly robots taking it up and down. I'm not seeing a lot of um activity that looks like positioning to me. Yes, definitely likes this range. Another tick up in treasuries. Now the top of their range, 14. I really, really wanted to sell. 14 would be your first opportunity where it would be okay, I think. Well, you can get one tick at least. Two. Well, that's unfortunate. They didn't put it there for long. If they had made another push at 14 and had done what it had just done there again, I think I might have put an order in. But it didn't. They just he cleared it once and then 3 ticks down. And he made another pretty solid move up. You could take 13.5. Seems kind of pulley there. They built some bids at 13. I think you might see 13.5 pull really easily. Enough. Hmm. So it bought 14 really easily, but they weren't super aggressive with putting the bid in.
US market composite PMI for the final reading again prior 56. Well, it serves as PMI as expected at 53.4, unchanged
Yeah.
from prior 3.4.
So I'm seeing some buying pressure for sure, but they appear a little hesitant to me about it. So it's kind of like the thing from earlier. It's like they would rather sell it.
People streaming into the Bloomberg. Also in equity news, that UBS have price target of $1 from a prior of 105.
Well, that'll help. I wonder if the desktop audio was probably when it got it too low was probably popping in and out for you. That's why when I had the chairman speaking, that one you couldn't hear the volume all the time. I just fixed that. I had a noise gate on the desktop, which I don't need.
No recession in sight.
There you go. Okay, so this is curious. Treasuries are bidding up a little bit, but equities are bidding up a little bit too.
Continuing that there is a much better, more optimistic picture right now.
So you can see the 14 is still soft. But he's looking really solid though. Sure. Hmm. Not quite doing what I want. Okay.
It's more from Kudlow saying it's not a sugar high on Trump policies, saying that they will be staying.
Okay. So we only got 2 to sell into 13.5. Equity's gonna bust the high here again now.
Just a tweet now from President Trump, just a great jobs number just announced.
Are they gonna make sure everybody knows that the job number was good? Hmm. Okay, so that was a stronger offer there on the downtick. The 13.5 is not pulling. May do so shortly though, no? Okay. Well, somebody may have just given up on a trade there. I don't know. It still feels like really strong buying in equities. Treasuries just not quite going along with it. Okay. A little bit of resistance at 14.5. Okay. Hmm. Lots of stuff going on.
There is too much gloom and doom right now in sentiment.
Amen, brother.
3 minutes now until we get the US market composite PMI for December. Again, this is the final reading. The prior 53.6, well, the composite, the services PMI, sorry, that's expected to be unchanged at 53.4. Bit of equity news now, picking up on a sources piece from Business Today.
Hmm.
They're saying that the Amazon future retail deal has fallen through.
So that tick up to 14.5 is not really resulting in more market interest. It is still robots trading that back and forth. And they're only putting up like 100s and in some instances, in fact, too. Okay. So there was a stronger tick down, but again, only 300 offered at 14. Let's see if they put
Should we
that
go ahead and
stack on.
say, is it
Ooh,
accurate to say that US companies will crash on China?
okay. E-mini liked something there. How do I know that it's robots? So when I see it tick up and immediately there are 300 there, those are robots. Only robots can do that quickly. And you'll notice that sometimes it'll be there 300 and now they'll trade it back down, you see? And then there was only about 100 that put up on the other side and then they traded back down. Like, people aren't that fast. And honestly, if you were a person, why, unless you just wanted to fill really bad, why would you put that there? You know? So when I'm only seeing less than 500 being bidder offered and it's trading back and forth across that price several
Trump has
times.
been optimistic on US-China trade talks. So again, that's more from the economic advisor. Could load that Trump has been optimistic on US-China trade talks. 1 minute
Good.
now until the US data.
That indicates to me that some of the action might be robots. Even that downtick may have been that a robot got stuck on the wrong side and decided to bail. You know, that can happen too. What would be more clear signal to me if something is like it ticks down and immediately there's 3,000 on the bid, right? Because what a big trader will do if they've got like the ready DOM or something like that is they've got a macro button. So they'll hold shift and they'll click and it will do all these actions at
10
once.
seconds.
And so he can be like, okay, I want to sell everything at 13 and then I want to stack 3,000 at 13 and buy some of 12 half.
54.4 for the services PMI will compensate at 54.4 as well. Just looking at the breakdown on the
Okay.
services sector, final PMI and the new business index was at 54.3, while the employment index for the services sector at 53.6.
With given how strong equities are being right now,
Index at 54.3.
they are right. Okay, so 2493.50. So they beat out yesterday's high already. Okay. So that time somebody was waiting for them to go down here and they bought it and there was actually some stops at that 75 at 13 half. Happened so fast and it was a tick up. That was probably somebody getting stopped out.
Asking China to reduce subsidies in talks next week.
Okay. See, they're still just kind of. It's interesting when I see, not a whole lot being bidder offered.
On that earlier situation reported in
Hold on.
Germany, comes from the police saying it has indications that the shooting is related to biker gangs.
When I don't see,
Those suggesting that the IP theft in China may be weighing on Apple.
yeah, I bet. But when I don't see a whole lot bidder offered, that to me is like a balanced price, because that means to me that both buyers and sellers see that price is a fair price, and so they don't really, for whatever reason, they don't really want to trade it that aggressively. 13 was looking a little balanced for a while, but it still looks like that 13 half is a more clear price. But we spent quite a while down there at 13 and 13 half, for that little bump that higher that we had to like 15. Now to be back down here at 13. But that would normally be really good sign for us, but they're still not getting aggressive. Sellers aren't getting aggressive. I hope that was a reasonable answer to that. I think Fib Futures, because I know you've been around for a while, you might be saying maybe it's really not robots. You don't really know that. And that's true. I'm just saying, like, the chances are that it is.
Well, in equity news, Moody's estimates Apple's first quarter 2019 iPhone revenue will be down about 15% year on year.
Okay. Right. So a little bit stronger selling now that time, but there was an iceberg there holding it. Okay. Still not offering a ton.
Could Lou again more on Trump and Powell saying a frank and candid exchange would benefit them.
Oh. That's not positive things you say in here, Cudlow. Come on. Just say, hey, we would never fire him, and we like what we put in, even though we don't like the current interest rate policy. That's what I would say. Okay. That 13.5 is awfully flaky, isn't it? See, 13.5 is a very, very balanced. They trade through it easily. Ah. Okay, that was much better downtick. Granted, it's only 1,000, so it's not like amazing, but it was better than the one before it for sure. And that 12.5 is getting a little bit weak too. E-mini looks like they're going to break a new high. I'm interested. What is it going to take if those new highs in equities aren't enough to push treasuries to the low of the day? What is it going to take? Okay. Ooh, okay. So they put 1,300 on offer that time. Mm-hmm. So I'm not seeing a ton of selling at 12.5. Hmm. 1,000 bought at that. Well, they're still willing to stack it. Hmm. They're really playing footsies with each other here. Okay. Oh yeah, they're gonna bust through that 495. Gonna be glorious. Woohoo! Okay. Ah. Okay. So now that time there was an iceberg selling. They're gonna battle it out here a little bit. State offer. Only 1,100. 12 is not pulling. Okay. I think I need to move this. Just in case. So I think there's a pretty high possibility of a new low here. We got to be careful because it does kind of look like they had to force somebody out in order to get it to go down those 4 ticks, you know? Okay. So not immediate pressure at 11. Sometimes when it downticks like that, you'll see the offer try to build up really immediately, and you'll see icebergs at 11.5, but you were not seeing that. So they're still not quite ready. I'd also say, okay, they're still willing to sell it at 12. No? Okay, let's take it off at 12. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird to me that they wouldn't go for the low there. The 5-year, you know, it'd be better if they were all lined up and they were all sitting at the lows. But it kind of seemed to me like I could see somebody was selling it. I could see that sellers were mostly in control and they were just kind of waiting for it to tick down so they could push it. And I could see that somebody had gotten stopped out to bring us down to 12. But then when they ticked back up, there was a little bit of selling, and then they gave up. They stopped, and so I took it off, and of course immediately it ticked up 2 ticks. So maybe I should have been. Maybe I should be more aggressive. I mean, maybe they're going to go back down and take out the low, but I think that, you know, I caught that swing, so it's acceptable to have gotten out there. I don't know. I mean, the thing is equities still look strong. So maybe I'm just too impatient. Maybe they're going to make a new high, and treasuries are going to bust right through there. But for the moment, it seemed kind of odd to me that they weren't doing it. Yeah. See, the problem that I have is like, I see a target at 10, I see a target at like 8, and so here I've got like 2 ticks above that. There's 4 ticks reward, and it came up 2 ticks. So 2 ticks of heat to potentially get another 4 or 8, you know? It's hard for me to calculate if that was the right call or not. Of course, you can never say that it's bad to take a profit, but and especially since I've got 4 winners in a row, 4 good winners in a row, is a little insane. And I had a good day yesterday too. Oh, there you go. Then now they took 11.5 offer. But see, they're not. There's nobody putting big strong offers on. Okay, maybe that's a little bit better. Hmm. Well, they may finally get them to do it, but it's being awfully. Why are they doing trash on a Friday? Thursday is trash day. Hmm. Should also keep in mind that the price action that we're seeing right here is the same price action that we saw much higher up, right? It's very slow and it just kind of eventually it does tick down. So it's like maybe sellers are in control and they're like, well, we'll just let the robots do their thing.
Senators are proposing a bill to combat technology threats from China.
And they're not gonna really, you know, use their liquidity to really push it and get aggressive until they need it at like 10 and 8 to get fills, you know? Maybe that's what's going on. Hmm. This run in this rally in the E-mini, it's not like super crazy. It's just kind of like a slow melt up. It's probably your best kind of move, really. What's he got here? So his downside target in ZN, based off of the non-farm report, if they do an extension, is 06. Yeah. I mean, I can see it. I wouldn't doubt it at all.
So we're 10 minutes away now to hear from Fed Chair Powell. He will be taking part in a joint interview with his predecessors at Janet Yellen as well as Bernanke at the annual conference of the American Economic Association in Atlanta. So it will be a speech from Powell first. It's not known if the text will be released, followed by the joint interview conducted by Neil Irwin from the New York Times. Expected to hear from Fed bosses will be taking part in a separate panel discussion on the long-run macroeconomic performance. No text is expected to be released with the Q&A either.
If U.S. companies have zero profits in China, it equates to only 1.7% of the U.S. economy.
To watch the event live on our board and Twitter page.
Yeah. Well, and if you say that, like, GDP increase year over year is 3%, and we're going to have slightly lower growth this year, so we're going to be like we're going to be like 2% instead of 3% like we were last year. Like, all of the numbers seem to line up and make sense to me. And you have to consider that everybody, both China and the United States, at least at this time, are talking very positive and are saying that they really want to make a deal. So, and if the Chinese tariffs go away, I think that the United States has given itself such a great position since, during all of this. Like, honestly, I understand markets are down, but markets are down worldwide, right? And the United States' relative position has improved, I believe. So, if they get a trade deal, man, that's going to be really positive.
Mitch McConnell, reiterating any spending bill must have President Trump's approval.
Ding, ding, ding. Now this, so the trade deal stuff and the numbers, I think today are great, absolutely great. But you got to remember that those weren't the only things holding the markets down. I know tariffs were a big deal, but those weren't the only things, and in fact, they didn't even appear to be the primary drivers at many points for why the market is behaving the way that it is. Right? One of the primary drivers was what Powell said, and he's about to speak in 7 minutes. So we'll see how they react to what to that. And another one is Brexit, and that sounds like it could get drawn out well into March and May, which sucks. But that's a drag on markets. And then there is the government shutdown, which I think the markets so far are not hugely concerned about, but there does not seem to be any end in sight. I mean, the way that I see this is it's like Pelosi has a choice. She can either send a budget that includes funding for the wall, or the government can say shut down. And I don't see any reason for Donald Trump or the Republicans to want a bill right now, as much as they say on media. In fact, okay, we're getting pretty good prices here. I might think about. I don't know. I'm seeing some good bubbles in the 5-year. But then there was some strong buying in the 30. You know, it's so close to pal speaking. I think I'm just going to sit it out. As tempted as I am to sell 13.5, 14. Anyways, as I was saying, when you look at the news right now, like if you go to the front page of Reddit, I always like to go to the front page of Reddit and r/politics, because that gives you a really good idea of what is the Democrat Party's messaging right now, and kind of like what is their propaganda, what are they trying to do right now. And if you look at it, there is just a lot of talk about the Republicans are going to cave. It's like, oh, hey, so like one of the stories I saw this morning was Republican lawmakers are getting nervous and are trying to pressure McConnell to give in and to vote on something and to push it through or whatever, right? And I think that the net effect of that is to try and convince Republicans. It's kind of like psychological warfare to discourage them and convince them to give up earlier. And this is that whole mental game that we see here in trading. So like the stronger that Democrats yell that Republicans are going to give up and they should just give up now, the more confident I would be that Republicans aren't going to give up. Yeah. They're trying to scare you, and that says to me that Democrats are worried that the Republicans are going to hold the line. And they're trying to do everything they can to try and get them to not do it, because they're worried. They're worried that it's not going to go their way. And if things start to get really, wouldn't even be surprised if Donald Trump pulls another what is the word? Head fake again.
Getting comments now from White House advisor Kudlow, currently speaking on Fox Business. The part of the trade negotiations with China need to focus on enforcement.
Like maybe he could come out and he would say, well, maybe we might accept like 3,000. And then when Democrats say, we're winning, and they caved, and then he'll rescind it again, and he'll say, nope, now I need 5,000 or 7,000. And of course, Democrats will put it as him breaking his word, or him being unreliable, or him changing his mind simply because of the way that he was shamed in the media. But man, they sure do that head fake a lot, right?
Powell, Bernanke, and Yan to start. Again, we have posted a link onto board and Twitter page to watch live.
Oh, okay, we can watch this live. I like that. Oops, I see it right there. Live here.
One from Kudlow saying that the US December jobs number is likely to lead to upper revisions in GDP forecasts.
Okay. So we won't be able to see it. Apparently, you won't be able to see it until
Just under 1 minute.
8:15. Okay. And there actually was a good little target there at like what 15.5 for a second that I didn't notice while I was typing. Ooh, and the 5-year really went up. Wow.
10 seconds.
Okay. So they're gonna release his notes all at once. Let's just watch this one because I don't want to be caught in I've done good. Let's not screw it up. And this could be really volatile. Well, not really. I don't want to say like it's going to move around like big swings, but it might tick around a lot. So it may be hard to pick a spot and keep it, There's a wall at 12, yes. In ZB. Okay. So I'm still not getting... Refresh this page.
So no sign of any speech from Powell released. We're still waiting for the event to start.
Okay. When I go to the page, it just sits there and refreshes forever, and it's not pulling it up for me. So maybe they are having technical difficulties. And I'm hoping. I mean, I'm if I was Chairman Powell, I'm just trying to put myself in his shoes. Not that I'm trying to say like how he would think, but if I was Fed Chairman, but I'm still Seth, and I had done what he had done, okay, I would be going back and being like, oh man, I need to like get some coach to help me handle media better and to answer these questions better, and like I need to do a lot of practice because apparently what I say really matters to the market and how I say it really matters to the market, and I really need to clean up my messaging, etc., etc., etc. And I would have had a whole month now to think that over, and I would be wanting to prove myself. Here's another speech. Here's a chance for me to say something that will give the markets more confidence in Fed policy. I hope that's what we see today. And I would want everybody to watch it. But here the feed is not working right now. And we're still waiting. But maybe that's why they put it at 8:15, because they knew that it might not really actually start until 8:30. Oh, okay, now we're hearing stuff. Now we're hearing stuff. Yeah, and I'm not seeing changes in the liquidity, so don't think I want to trade this.
Continuing from Powell, that the jobs data was strong.
Yay.
The week's data was welcome. It doesn't raise inflation concern.
It did tick down. Yeah. I mean, if you were going to take a trade up there, it would be, you would want to be trading down, but it's just like, should you really? Spelling Bernanke. Nernanke, yes. We'll just call him Ben.
So Powell's still seeing strength in consumer spending as well as other data. The ISM is now at a level consistent with moderate growth.
These are all things that we know, or that we should know. Right? He's not giving. This isn't an economic numbers release.
ISM drop is worth keeping an eye on. More from Powell.
Yes, I agree with that too. Come on. Maybe I can get this page to refresh so I can hear him now.
So US data is on track for the good momentum into the new year. China consumers appear to be pulling back.
By the way, again, noticing quite a bit more people watching on Twitch today.
China's weakness is spilling over into other Asian nations.
I hope that the robot that's repeating messages between YouTube and Twitch is useful to you guys. But so hi, we're pretty with our trading here, kind of got like a close knit community. So don't be afraid to say hi. Don't just lurk.
More from Powell, the picture for the rest of the world is consistent with US growth.
So we want to, if you're going to start trading, we want to help you get started up and be successful as quickly as possible. All 08 was all we could manage on that last lift.
Data does show that the softening in demand, but
Says
inventories are responding and the country
John.
still expands.
Okay, so they got a little bit of a move down there, and now it's retracing already. And the volume,
Financial market
not incredibly strong.
Sideways signals.
In fact, an uptick. And the E-mini is coming down. JB.
Between data and
Hello. Oh, yes, that's John there on the YouTube. Yes.
saying that we will be patient as we watch how the economy evolves. Policy about risk management amid mixed signals.
Okay, now it's really starting to move.
A preset path, particularly with muted inflation. We're always prepared to shift the stance of policy. So again, that's Fed policy, not a preset path, particularly with muted inflation. They are always prepared to shift the stance of policy.
Okay, so the E-mini really rallied off of that comment, and Treasuries pushed down. Not down to the lows, just to the lower end of the range that we've been in since the news conference started. There is a little bit more limit selling at 13. So that's interesting. Anyways, I was gonna say, I don't like to talk over the squawk because the squawk's important to hear.
Adjust policy quickly.
Oh, you can't really hear the squawk? I mean, I try to have it really low. I can actually make him a lot louder. Where is it? I mean, I can make him a lot louder. Now they're pushing.
It's more from Powell that the markets are pricing in downside risks.
Yes.
Continuing that markets are well ahead of the data.
Okay, so this big order here at 12.5 in ZN is pretty good for maybe a potential move lower or a flip. But I don't like the risk reward of selling here at 12. even though, maybe
Saying the Fed will
maybe
be
they break
patient
the
and
low.
prepared with flexible policy. Markets are expressing concern about trade and world growth.
Mm-hmm. Wish I could get the full feed here.
The Fed will be taking into account market concerns.
So is that easier to hear now, JB? I need to turn that down. In my headphones, that's really loud. Well, that was a pretty strong move down. Oh, look at that. Look at that pressure at 11.5. I may
The Fed is
just have
listening
to take
carefully
that.
to market risk concerns.
Let's see what happens here. I think I may have already missed it, but that is really well, okay. I mean, they did take a new low for sure. Yeah. Okay. It helped a bit, but I still couldn't really hear it. That's interesting. Maybe here in OBS I need to increase the volume all the way up there like that too. That'll probably really make it louder. There you go. There's 10. So there was the original target. Funny that it came all the way back up to where I got in at, and I could have taken it again, and then the second time it would have given me the target that I wanted.
It's more from Paul that the Fed doesn't believe issuance is a big part of turbulence.
How about that one? That's probably a lot louder, right?
So the Fed wouldn't hesitate to change balance sheet policy if needed.
There you go. So now that it's touched 10, I don't see any reason why they wouldn't go down for these targets at like 08, 07, etc., etc., etc. And it's a pretty strong move down. Yes, it helped a little bit, but not a lot. Okay, well, and that's about as loud as I can actually make it, I think. I don't want it to be louder than my voice, and I kind of kept it low on purpose so that it was like, if people were listening to the squawk on their own, they weren't getting like crazy echo or it was hard to hear or whatever. But it's kind of more how loud is it compared to my voice. So my voice is at like negative 6 dB, and that was going at, I think, negative 6 dB, so it should be about equal loudness. There you go. There's going to be the 08. What software is this? So are you talking about the trading software that you're seeing on the screen?
To the bottom of the hour, we'll be getting the weekly EIA nat gas storage change, expected to be a draw of 47 BCF against a prior draw of 48 BCF.
Oh, it's actually still really quiet. I can actually make it louder. Okay, there you go. So the trading software that you see on the screen is Jigsaw. It's called, if you go to jigsawtrading.com, is their website. If you're interested in buying it, go into the Discord, and we have a platform in brokers.
Just getting some comments from Fed's Bostics as well here that the US employment is performing quite well, where US is at or very close to full employment.
And if you get a referral from somebody in there with your email address, you get like $15 off or something, I think. So, not that it matters for $500 software, but it's still kind of nice.
It's 1 minute now until the EIA net gas storage change.
If your voice is a 10, the squawk is about a 3. Even still after I turned it all the way up? Well, okay. I don't know. I wonder, do I have like my volume mixer, do I have something down? No, not really. Now it's about a 7. Yeah, because I turned it like all the way up. Okay, as long as it doesn't like as long as it's not like overpowering. But if you guys find that that volume is better, then good. Now the thing for me is I can't. I like to have my microphone like loud because I can hear myself through the microphone, and I feel like I talk better when I do that.
10 seconds.
But now, when the squawk is on, it's like, oh my gosh, that's so loud. I'm gonna just keep it down. It'll be fine. I'll get used to it. I'm just cheerleading.
It's a draw of 20 BCF, a draw of 20 BCF for the EIA net gas storage change.
No, you're still short 04 though, aren't you? He said short 04 and looking for... Oh, it only took to 29, so he's probably already out. Oof. When we had that move down, it was kind of like, well, it's during the news conference. I can't hear what he says. I already have a lot of profit. That kind of action can be like difficult to trade. And then, this big offer showed up at 12.5. I really should have taken that when that big offer showed up at 12.5, because at that point, the chances of it going down through the lows were super, super high. And look at how much you would have made if I had done that. So that was a real missed opportunity. But, I don't know. When I get that, like once I've gotten more than 8 ticks, and I'm literally almost to 16, actually, at this point, almost. I kind of get lazy because I don't want to screw it up. But you know what so this is another interesting thing. Something that I've been doing lately is when I'm looking at taking a trade, I always try and think like I'm in that position. Like I'm always like, oh, let's just pretend that I've already done really, really well today. Is it really worth taking a trade here?
About contact with the White House.
And I've been finding that has made me much more selective. And yeah, I've missed some good moves. And if I had been aggressive, I could probably have made twice as much. But
We did say that meetings between presidents and fair chairs do happen. Continuing saying that he wouldn't resign if President Trump asked him to.
he wouldn't resign if President Trump asked him to. He literally had that in his speech. That's interesting. He would have to be fired. And then that gets into that whole thing about, can he actually fire him?
Again, Pyle saying no meeting with Trump is scheduled.
Yoda asking why John doesn't trade ZB. Well, or why he doesn't trade ZN. Well, because he does good at ZB. And why would you trade ZN? Why would you trade ZN if you can make money trading ZB? The only reason I trade ZN is because I can't make money trading ZB. Oh yeah, that's right. I find myself twisting in the wind too often. There really are different beasts to trade. I kind of feel like that in Xian, because it doesn't tick as often, that it makes me much more patient. Um, but for some people, that could be really icky, you know? Okay, well, it is 8:30. I was kind of watching it like maybe it'll give me a spot where I think I can get 2 ticks, but eh, I'm not really feeling. I'm not really feeling it. I'm at 14 ticks right now, and if I got 2 more, it'd be 16. That'd be a nice goal. But like, why should I take a trade just to get 16 ticks? You know what I mean? That's dumb. I should take a trade because I see like a real opportunity. Now maybe there's a real opportunity at 11.5. If it gets up to 11.5 and maybe it bounces off of that liquidity, maybe it goes through it and it goes to 12.5. Maybe it goes through 12.5. I don't know. Probably unlikely. Let's not say unlikely. It's less likely to go through 12.5 simply because that's there. But because it showed up when we came up, you could always get the pulling, you know. So even though it's less likely to go up through there, there's still a pretty good chance they could get through it. And a lot of it's going to depend on the E-mini too. Now look at the market. Look at the E-mini since Powell has started speaking.
Just more comments from Fed's Bostic here. The Fed is using mechanical rules to shrink its balance sheet.
Let's look at it from the market profile chart. It's almost gonna, so it's gonna beat out the January high. I wouldn't be surprised S&P 500 closes above 25.21.
The Fed has a very strong non-political culture. Turning to UK political news, getting comments from the Irish PM as well, still expecting Brexit deal. It's more from Varadkar, expecting EU and Britain to secure a deal in the coming weeks, but prudent to prepare for a no deal.
Okay, well, I am going to mute the microphone and type up my cryptocurrency notes here. They're fading a little bit now. We might be seeing the next little crash in Bitcoin sooner than I thought, but it's still super slow, so it's kind of hard to like get too excited about it. You gave him the thumbs down. Honestly, though, ZV is a better trade. But honestly, like if you can trade it, yep. Yeah, drive safe. Is it nasty out there? I haven't even looked out the window. Hope you had a good day today, Dustin. Yeah, so I'm going to type up the notes. So if anybody has any questions, because I know there's a couple of like newer people on Twitch and stuff, to like go ahead and put those in now, and I will answer those before I shut the stream down. But I'm just going to take a few minutes to type up the notes.
Powell continuing that the Fed would use all its tools to the extent appropriate.
Okay, let's see what we're saying. It's a bad strategy, Seth. Oh, what? Getting in over and over again? You don't like that one? I mean, there are disadvantages to it because I have missed good moves from doing that, right? Like, remember 2 days ago where I was like, I think I can just get like one here. And I gave in and like I got out and I tried to get back in and then I didn't get filled again and then it went like 8 ticks without me. So, but especially when things get a little bit slower, I find that it's a really good way to do things. I had a mentor that told me the same thing. I never made any serious money until I stopped trading ZN and started trading ZB. Well, oh wait. What was this up here? Oh, ZN just provides too small of a reward. Oh, sorry. Stop listening to the haters. You do you, bro. Well, it's not. So what's happening is in Discord, Yoda and John are having a discussion about ZN and ZB, which is one of our favorite discussions, I think. So we talk about this all the time because there are a lot of guys that really like ZB, and there's a lot of guys that really like ZN. I 100%.
A bit of commodity news now. Comments from
hold on.
S&P that the total US rig count for December 2018 was 1,147. That was down 36 from November 2018 and up 117 from December of last year. The 2019 rig count outlook is foreshadowed by borrowing base cuts as well as price drops and seasonal dip in rigs.
I have absolutely done better in ZN, and so pretty hard. It'd be pretty hard at this point to convince me to give up trading ZN. I would maybe trade, if I had more capital, I would maybe trade ZB in instances where I see that the spread would make it advantageous. Like that trade that I saw a little bit earlier today where it was at 12 and I was like, ZB is down a little bit too low compared to the other ones. I think that maybe you could buy it here and it'll move back up. And it did. That was a really good trade if we had taken it. But I think would always prefer to trade in ZN. And primarily because it's easier to define your risk. And it seems to me that while order flow is a really good trading tool, it is not enough edge on its own to be profitable. It seems to be the things that get me to profitable is a combination of the order flow, risk, an edge in the way that you manage the risk, and some kind of understanding of the daily context. So knowing that because there's news today, or because it's Wednesday or Friday or whatever it is, that we're more likely to have this kind of action than this kind of action. Right? So, being able to define your risk in ZN is a really good edge. So I can't tell you how many times I trade ZB and I have a 4-tick stop and it would stop me out and then just go without me. It was like you really had to have the price right in ZB, and it's so hard to know what that price is because it doesn't in ZN. Literally it tells you, it's like, hey, we're gonna sit and rotate around 10 for a while. Like I can tell you right now, just based off of the way that it's trading right there, they like that 10 and 10.5. They seem to like it, and we could spend some time there. In ZN, you don't know, because it's like a 4-tick range, and you don't know like where within that 4-tick range you really are for those guys, and so it's really hard to define your risk. So in ZB, you have less of an edge in defining your risk. That means that you have to have more of an edge somewhere else. Now, John, who is, I believe, a much better trader than me, seems to have some very serious edge in the market profile and in knowing where it's going to go to and where it's going to stop and so forth. He's just so good at being able to call those levels. And so he makes up for it in that. And so that's where it's like, if you can trade ZB, it's better. It just unquestionably, it's better to trade ZB.
Powell saying the best we can do is be as transparent as possible.
In most instances, it is unquestionably better to trade ZB simply because of the commissions alone, right? Simply because of the commissions, it's almost unquestionably better to trade ZB. But they are different instruments, and so if there are going to be some strategies that are going to work better on ZB, and there's going to be some strategies that are going to work better on ZN. And I think that for me, where my strategy is primarily reading order flow and managing your risk, you're probably better off trading ZN. If you're doing anything that has to do with charts and levels and market profile and these sorts of things, I've noticed that ZB reacts to those a lot more strongly. So yeah. But I don't think I'll ever switch off of ZN. I've tried it too many times, and it's very clear to me that I'm better at ZN. Oh. That's nice. Okay, well anyways, it is now 8:50, so that's kind of like I really got to get going now. 10 minutes before I need to be out the door. So, awesome trading. Oh my god, guys. 4 winners in a row. And if we extend this out, let's do that. Hold on. Like, the week overall was really great too, because on Wednesday I got 2, which was okay. But then yesterday I got 10, and then today I got 14. So I'm almost up $500 this week, right? Oh, I need to change this. Okay, if I change this to be the start of the week, okay, not $200, $250, almost up $250. Oh no, there we go, almost 500. When you include the e-mini, I think it's like way more than that. See if I include the mini. Where is that one? At $300. Now it's $700. Yeah. John says you need to develop a strategy that triggers your ZB entry off of the ZN info /momentum. Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, I remember when we first met, that's what I was doing. I was trading ZB, but I was looking at ZN primarily to see which way I wanted to go. But that's where I was saying I think the problem with that is that I still can't seem to tell which price I should take. It's like I'll get the overall direction right, but because I wasn't able to keep my risk tight enough, I take 4 ticks of heat and stop out or whatever it is. So there's got to be a little bit more to it than that. Anyways, but more so than that, like it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 trades in a row. I don't know if I'm ever. That's probably the best trading I've ever done. Yep. All right. And did I miss anything here? No. Okay. Yeah. Hey, thanks guys for the discussion. I wish we could keep talking because I enjoyed it. I really like the discussion about which instrument to trade, but it is time to go. So I will catch you guys next week.